Can we cancel assignments from the enemy? Absolutely. Can we call upon angelic provision and angelic protection? Absolutely. But none of that stopped Paul from being beaten. None of that stopped Stephen from being stoned. None of that stopped Peter from being crucified upside down. And so do you pray? Absolutely. Our teams are praying like they've never prayed before. And do we have armed security at every single campus, every single Sunday to protect our people? Absolutely. But things like this happen because, and it serves as a reminder, there are no accidents. We are engaged in spiritual warfare, and the enemy hates what V1 Church represents. The enemy hates what we stand for. I want you to take a look at this other picture, and we have to be vigilant. And so, look at this. Man, this is insane. So I just wanted to give you guys an opportunity to see what happened. Now, here's the thing. The good news is we are already repairing the church. The good news is nobody was hurt in the process. The good news is we are having services tonight. And so nothing's going to stop us from having service. Now, I do want to ask you that you would pray that whoever did this is found. And I say that because one of the famous preacher stories that I've told is many years ago, there was somebody that had stolen a car. And this is many, many years ago, and this was a popular news article. This man had stolen a car. And as a result of stealing the car, there was a police chase. And the police were trying to find, to get him to pull over so he can be arrested for the crime that he committed. But there was a bigger reason why the police were after him. And the bigger reason was he had stolen a car of somebody who did pest control, and in the front row, or in the front seat rather, the passenger front seat, there were crackers that this pest control person used to actually bait for rodents, and they were lethal. And so so what happened was this guy who stole a car thought that he was eluding his being captured, but actually he was eluding his rescue because the cops were trying to flag him and pull him over to say, hey, don't make the mistake of eating the poison-riddled crackers in the passenger seat of the car. And so what looks like we're trying to capture you is, yes, there's a penalty for what you've done, but we're trying to save you. And so that's the gospel. It's like some of us think that we're eluding the consequences by running away from God, but actually the gospel is no, when you run to God, he saves you and he delivers you. So whoever did this left the scene, and I believe that God, there in this story is a narrative of redemption, because this person left the scene and they may be thinking, I don't want, insurance, or I don't want this and this and this, not realizing that they accidentally crashed right into the very place where the answer to all the things that are keeping them bound is in our local church. It's through Jesus Christ. And so first and foremost, before you pray for V1 Church, before you pray for me, I want you to pray for the person that during the witching hour at 3 a.m. literally crashed into our building and through a wall, and then made a bad decision to drive away. And I want you to pray for them, because as a church family, we love them already. We have a church full of people who have made mistakes, and yet we show them the saving grace of Jesus Christ, and we help them get free from addictions and bondages and all of that. And so I'm looking at this saying, okay, God, you're trying to write a better story. You're trying to write a different story, and we want to be a part of that story in that person's life. I think this can be a story of redemption. I think this can be a story of healing. I think this can be a story of reconciliation. And so I want you guys to join with me. How many of you guys are willing to join with me and to pray for the person that crashed their vehicle through our church late last night? Because I believe that you guys are seeing this broadcast, but I believe that there could be a future broadcast where we are even telling the story of how that person was saved and delivered, okay? So we want to pray for them. Last thing I want to say is we are having services tonight across all of our physical campuses. We're going to spam the chat. Here's the thing. If you want to donate, because we're going to have to make some repairs, we're at a place now with all this stuff, like we don't have, I'm going to drop in the chat right now, but we're going to have church. There's some things we're going to have to replace. There's some things that we're going to have to do. So if you want to donate, hit the pinned comment to donate as well. Maybe the moderators can put in the chat. But I say that because the devil is a liar. So I want to give you an opportunity to sow if you want to sow into this. But man, I'm not worried about it. Ultimately, God is in control. But man, not the way that I wanted to wake up today. And so I believe that this person, and I do believe that demons were behind it. You know what I mean? I believe that this was demonically orchestrated. I don't think it was an accident. I believe that this was demonically orchestrated, but I do believe that God will turn it around, and I believe that he will turn this into a win